Hey everybody, it's Linda. I'm here with Sterling, your favorite guy.
Well, everybody.
We took a break last Sunday. Actually, your wife said, we'll go ahead and take a break. I said, okay. But listen, the minute they know you're coming, I don't know if you see it or if you even look, but.
I didn't look, but I think my wife was taking a look,
Yeah. Yeah. And he has high class, you guys, because his wife's name is Linda too. You know, it's so funny, as I had a terrible crush when I was young on Davy Jones of the Monkees. Did you ever meet him?
I did, yeah, years ago.
What was he like?
A very sweet, very similar on camera, off camera.
Yeah. Okay, because I heard he could be tough sometimes.
No? See it,
well, he married a Linda. And then I always had a crush on Paul McCartney.
Okay.
And he married a Linda. So I'll tell you, that's the name. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's start off with question number 1. Listen, everybody, we also send our goodwill and hope everybody's safe. And, I feel that this too shall pass. So that's why you watch us, is because we give you reason to have hope. Okay, so number 1, there's talk that Trump will run again in 2024. I haven't heard that, but there's talk. If he loses in November, what are the chances of him winning in 2024?
Don't see him running in 2024. What I do see is him being, I'll call an aggravator from the sideline, still trying to push forward Russian policy and things that will benefit Russia. But I don't see him running again. I think that he actually will realize that, that's the end. He won't be able to get in again. Yeah.
Do you see any of his family members running?
Not in the next 2 presidential elections. I think it's very possible as we get to the 3rd or 4th, we could see some resurgence there, but don't see it for the next couple elections.
You know what I'm feeling as I'm talking to you is I'm feeling somebody might be Junior. Somebody may think they can run and there's no support, so they just sort of filter out. Okay, you heard it here first, you guys.
Right.
Okay, number 2, is Trump being haunted? Oh, I love this one. Is Trump being haunted while living in the White House?
It's an interesting question because past presidents do frequent the White House, dead presidents.
Right.
Because actually they're concerned for the nation and for, everything that goes on there. However, Trump is not sensitive to that. So he doesn't really pick up on that. And so there's no haunting going on. I think that was the nature of the question. Don't see haunting, but the presidents do, try to do what they can to put the right kind of thoughts in people's minds to help.
I'd love to hear from Obama or any of them. I think Jimmy Carter one of the presidents saw Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, that's a frequent comment. I think people even stay in the Lincoln bedroom say that they see him. So, yeah.
Somebody came from some other country, like it could have even been the Queen. And she was in the Lincoln bedroom and there was a knock on the door and it was him. That's what I heard. It might not be true. But Michael, what's that guy's name that wrote that book about Trump? Remember, he was sitting in the White House and they were all upset because he had carte blanche and Bannon talked to him. He said Trump used to come down early downstairs all the time and then stop because I guess something happened or he felt something or saw something. So, but they're not haunting him.
No.
They're just saying, why are you here?
They're still trying to figure everything out, right?
There's the door. Oh yeah, if we put one of those EVP things that turn it on, you'd probably hear "Get out."
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, is Trump telling the truth about his hydrochloroquine? Is he taking it?
So when he had the initial scare, when he had COVID-19, he had a milder form, was it March or April? I feel he did try it. He actually tried it for a few days, had some bad reaction, and from there he stopped. But in his own mind, he feels like because he didn't die, it's still okay. But I also pick up that he still has financial interest in hydrochloroquine. So yeah, I think there's a lot going on there that we need to be aware of.
Okay, so he is saying this out loud to get people to buy it.
Right. I think there was some heavy investments made and by he and his friends. And so there's a financial component to all the dialogue going on from him. And that's
Right.
important to understand. It's not just out of goodwill.
Right. So the what was I going to say, that the VA came out with a study and said it was horrible. It was killing their veterans. So yeah, when I read earlier on it, I picked up it was for financial reasons.
Yeah.
But he would lie. You know what I'm saying? Why? Why?
You know, I think that the list now is as big as a phone book, you know, of all the lies. It's, yeah.
And that taking Clorox or whatever, people really were in the hospital. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
according to the control line, they got a lot of calls regarding that. So whether
Yes.
people pick it or not, but there were a lot of people considering it, which is also very dangerous. Yeah.
That's very dangerous. Okay, so number 5, states that have opened early, are they hiding the number of COVID-19 cases and deaths?
You know, what I get on that is that there's both direct and indirect hiding of the numbers. So what I mean by that is that there are some states that aren't counting very well. They're not testing very well, so they really don't have good data. And there are other states like Florida that do have better testing, but they're cooking the books.
Okay.
So you can play all sorts of games with data and statistics, you know, by it's, you know, the number of new cases versus the number of, let's say, of total risk people or total population. You can
Right.
play with the numbers, and that's what's happening in Florida, for example. So
Okay.
there's, yeah.
So will there be a second wave? And will it be worse than the first wave?
Yeah, my guys are telling me that we will see a second wave in the fall, but the good news is because testing will be much more available as well as tracing. And remember, I think you and I, a couple of shows ago, we talked about tracing and even using artificial intelligence technology to do better tracing.
Right.
So you can catch an outbreak faster and then you can shut it down.
Right.
So it's almost like we'll see a bump in the fall, but it'll be mitigated by all the technology and the better testing. So.
Right. So people will be frightened, but it won't nearly be what it was before.
Right. It'll be mitigated. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Only 6 months to the election. When will Biden announce his VP? I think you answered this before even.
Yeah, probably. I mean, what I get on it right now is that it's going to be probably within 60 days. So what that means is just before August, all the conventions, right?
I think you said July before.
Yeah, I think the Democrats, the convention starts August 7th. And then I think for the Republicans, it's August 24th, or it's August 24th to the 27th for Republicans. But I feel like he's going to announce just prior to the conventions. So.
Okay. Okay.
And also,
you don't have to. What? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say what I picked up is that he has three female candidates he's looking at right now, and so he's really still trying to decide.
Can you see them at all, or one of them?
Well, yes and no. A little bit of fluctuation there. So I think there's a lot of people trying to help him with the decision. So there's a lot of free will. It looks like there's 3 primary candidates for VP.
Okay, whoever it doesn't matter. He's going to win. That's my interpretation.
He will, yeah.
Okay, so people want to know rents and housing prices. Will they start to fall a little so people can get in there and get something cheaper?
So maybe take that question on 2 different sides: rent and housing prices.
Yeah, there you go.
So housing prices are going to see a little bit of a dip here as we kind of get through the end of the year. Mostly because, you know, it's obviously, you know, it's a supply and demand situation, and a lot of people, the demand won't be there, the strong demand. So that will drive some of the prices down. Regarding rents and that, I do see some fluctuations in rent and rent control and the government getting involved, because you can't throw, you know, half the population out on the street if they don't have a job. So, and I think the unemployment in California is like 15% now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are very high numbers. So I do see rents being tempered by the fact that there'll be government intervention and extensions of being able to pay, you know, your rent. And then, but housing prices will definitely have it in a dip here. As we get into the first quarter next year, it'll start to recover.
Okay. I get the notice, you know, my house went up.
Oh, good.
But my parents' house that we sold a while ago went down. It's in the East Bay. Okay, so will corporations and the 1% in the United States ever be required to pay their fair share of taxes?
Well, certainly not this year, but it looks to me like by the time you get to the third year of the Biden presidency, so that'd be what, 2023, that a lot of the new tax laws, the tax codes will implement it, that will start laying a heavier tax on the 1%. So it's going to take about 2 years to unwind a lot of the things that have been done and to get it legislation developed and then passed. So I see the tax code by the third year of the Biden presidency being modified.
Is it also because they really need to dip into this, all the stuff we're going to need to recover?
Right. It'll be 2 years just to get everything kind of, right-sided because of what happened. And you'll see a reasonable recovery in the first 24 months of Biden's, presidency, and then they'll get everything else taken care of down the road, like tax code.
Okay. Now, wondering about the re-election bids of Republican senators. I think you talked about this too before, but is there any kind of flags you're getting?
Yeah, it seemed kind of high, but this is interesting. The last time I asked about this, they said there was something like approximately half of all the Republicans across the House and Senate, lower and higher house, would actually be replaced, but replaced with a combination of some Democrats and Republicans that were more willing to work across the aisle. So different kind of a Republican, but I saw, and I questioned them, I said, half? And they're like, yeah, about half. So that'd be a good thing. More reasonable people.
That's what's going to happen, is we're going to go into reason, no more of this person. But I got to tell you something. I did get a flash, and I'll do my own video later, but I did get a flash that I saw Lindsey Graham actually losing. I hadn't really saw him losing before.
Yeah, I do too, as a matter of fact, now that you're asking, yeah.
Right, I saw it, and I'll go get into it later.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm hearing about a vaccine in September. What do you think the odds are?
0 for September. But so here's what I've gotten, and I continue to get, because when I asked my guys about it, they said it was August of this year, there'd be a breakthrough on and understand COVID-19, the coronavirus, from a remote part of the world. So for me, they were telling me understanding the blueprint of the virus, because you can't really effectively fight it unless you understand what it's all about.
Right.
And then it was a year from this August, so August of next year, kind of end of summer, where the vaccines would be available, is what I saw.
Yeah. Okay. Because that Dr. Fauci is saying he thinks we'll have something by the end of this year, but not September. He never said September.
Yeah, and by the way, trials are starting right now, and there'll be trials starting in January, but that's different than widespread availability of a vaccine. And I did see the vaccine coming from like 4 different manufacturers, because I saw like 2 of them give you a little bit more of a muscle reaction, 2 don't. And so there's the complexities there, but widespread availability August of next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Will Trump be arrested right after he loses the election?
No. I mean,
I never saw him.
No. There's too many lawyers on the case, and too many attorneys, and even if he was to be arrested, they would drag it out in court for 5 years. So yeah.
And then he'll be gone by then. So
yeah.
Okay. So people want to see him arrested.
I understand. Yeah.
You can understand their passion.
I can.
Okay. Will the Supreme Court grant a stay on the release of the Mueller report?
It's an interesting one, because Roberts is really having kind of a challenge of his conscience. So, I think that he would prefer not to grant a stay, but I think we're actually going to see a stay come down from the Supreme Court this year, and it won't be until the Attorney General is replaced next year that then the new Attorney General fights for the release of the report. So,
so we will see it shut down for a while.
I do. I think that the stay is going to be granted, so it won't be released this year. Yeah.
Okay. Quick question in between that. Is Roberts going to stay in the Supreme Court, or are they going to escort him?
No, I think he's going to stay, but I do see health issues for him like a year out from now.
Okay.
So I see him battling something. I don't know if it's a little bit of cardiac something going on there where he's got to get some extra attention. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
might be all the
Um,
stress.
I'm going to tell you what I've always seen. I always saw Mueller as a hero. And
Oh
I
yeah,
always saw all the information coming out and a plethora of information when Trump is gone.
yeah,
Just
oh yeah.
like, oh my God, this guy was a two-time, we already knew, but the other people might wake up. Okay, what does 2021 school year look like, especially for seniors?
Well, it looks to me like this fall is going to a bit of a write-off. Now, I say a write-off, it's going to be a lot of remote learning and distance learning because the schools don't have the wherewithal to kind of protect everybody. You can't put them in close proximity. However, the winter season looks like they're going to have a lot more safety measures in place. So there's going to be a lot more, by the way, what I pick up is ultraviolet technology, UV technology, to be able to create safer environments. This is very bright flash UV technology that disinfects the entire environment, and you'll see that. So that's going to come into the school system, and so more remote in the
These
fall.
poor kids, can you imagine being in school right now with this drama?
Yeah, it's this virus is changing the entire world. There isn't a single facet that's not being changed. It's
And our young people, remember when we were young, it was
yeah,
always about hanging out with somebody or doing something. Well, I'm
sure.
way older than you. I'm talking, I was young in the 70s,
Mhm.
60s. I graduated from high schools in the 70s, but it was all about hanging out. And of course, we didn't have cell phones. You talked on the regular phone, and my dad would scream if you were on there too long.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, just chillaxing. Although I tend to be lazy, so.
Now everybody's on Zoom.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, will Michael Cohen write a tell-all book? When will it be released? Is his life in danger?
So I feel Michael is already well into writing a tell-all book. He's very well into it. And but what I see, interestingly enough, is that the publisher, whoever this publisher is, and I don't know if but they're actually going to release one of the chapters around the time of the conventions. So the book won't be done, but they're going to release like what will be a very kind of interesting tell-all chapter, whether that's the
Ooh, I
forward to the
love
book
it.
or a chapter one. But I saw a chapter like being released saying, hey, look, this book's coming, but they're doing that to upset the whole process.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
So is he okay? Is his life in danger?
He's okay. And the reason he's okay is there's too many people connected to him and watching him.
Okay.
So, there's nothing that's going to be able to sneak in. And if anything did happen to him, there'd be such a direct link to the White House that, you couldn't do it. So
Right.
he's safe just by virtue of the fact that he's so out there and so public.
Okay. Okay. So I never felt like he would be taken out, but I felt that if he was taken out, he has everything, like this book would still come out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I saw him writing it while he's in jail and handing his attorney everything.
Absolutely. And I didn't say that, and you're 100% correct. I saw him getting a jump on it when he was in prison.
Right. Oh, he's furious. Of course, everybody else will say he's a liar, but we all know he's telling the truth. Okay, after the election.
By the way, I was going to tell you, I feel his harshest critic was his wife.
What?
No, about the whole thing, about the whole experience.
She wasn't happy with what he was doing.
And he really took that to task. And so he's
really. Or even his daughter. Yeah.
I feel the women in his life were really the ones that he really felt the most bad about. And, after all this was revealed and eventually went to prison, but that's kind of who he really listens to. So. But
he also, he kind of showed his rear, and there's a saying, showed your ass. He acted like big king, big product, always trying to get up next to Trump. Mm-hmm. And Trump used him.
Yeah.
Okay. After the election, will Trump and his family attempt to flee the country to avoid prosecution?
Not really. There's global travel, but they're gonna try to face all the accusations head on with enough attorneys. So They really won't be fleeing. They'll be traveling around the world, but
Okay. Does Putin believe he has achieved his goals by supporting Trump?
No. And so what's interesting about that, that's why after he's out of the White House, he's going to be really trying to create havoc from the sideline, because he's going to try to still fulfill the obligations he has to Putin because of all the loans. Putin wanted to make sure he gets his money's worth.
Right.
So Trump is still going to have to drive chaos from the sidelines, but it won't be as effective.
No, in fact, my hit was that Putin was unhappy with Trump because he never got those sanctions off.
Well, exactly.
Came into office, he ordered all the sanctions off towards Russia. Someone ran to the Republican-run Congress and said, he's ordering all the sanctions, and Congress turned around and said, no, you can't do that. Right. So they're still in place. Mm-hmm. And Trump couldn't believe, as president, he couldn't go in there and just do that. So who are the men in black?
That's a good one. By the way, that was an excellent movie too. Excellent movie franchise.
Right.
Well done. So they're a real organization. What I've got is that part of the federal government that was actually designed, a lot of years ago to try to protect a lot of the information flow having to do with our terrestrial neighbors or the aliens. Mm-hmm. But the reason they were originally created, I got, was because they want to protect any competitive advantage the U.S. might have had against other nations. So whereas if people were to talk, now Russia knows, now, Asia knows, and that's kind of where it all started.
I see what you're saying.
And then it got into an area where there was advanced technology where they didn't want that out in the public. But now we're going to see the next few years, a lot of this will be revealed into the public. So it'll be a lot less secret now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Do you guys have a message for us all?
Yeah, what they're saying is just try to demonstrate, kindness and love, like for everybody you meet, kind of during this pandemic, because it really does blossom. It really does grow out. So every interaction that we have, whether it's in our daily course of doing business or the supermarket, but that does kind of produce a wave of love and good energy. So just being kind and demonstrating love to whoever you meet.
And I know some people are like, right, be kind, but it's true. Energetically, even if maybe you, honest to God, in your heart are just angry and you don't feel it, do your best to reverse that, because it'll help manifest what you need also. It's not just for the well-being of the country, it's for the well-being of your own soul energy. So
absolutely. Yeah.
I can't believe how we like to keep it at 30, and it looks like we did a good job, my friend.
Almost on the money.
Yeah, almost on the money. Because it's hard for Zoom to record bigger than that. So
Exactly.
Okay, right. So next Sunday?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll see y'all next Sunday, and we'll be back with Sterling, one of your favorites. Are you ever going to do your own YouTube channel, or are you working on that right now?
Yeah, I think maybe you and I offline will talk about that. Sure.
Okay, because I monetize this, so I'm making money and you're not. Although you get a lot of clients.
All good. It's all good either way. Yeah.
Yes, I've heard nothing but good about you.
All right, great. Well, thank you.
Okay, my friend. Bye.